Welcome back to HoopZone Sport News, where today we're diving into a hot topic that's buzzing in the NBA world right now. Kendrick Perkins recently joined SportsCenter and made some bold predictions during a segment called Perk Up or Perk Down. One of the most eye-catching statements was his belief that the New York Knicks could be a real threat to dethrone the Celtics this season. So, let's break down why Perk is so confident in the Knicks and why we should all keep an eye on them as the season progresses. To start with, Kendrick Perkins didn't shy away from acknowledging the Knicks' tough season opener against the Celtics. Yes, Boston came out strong, firing on all cylinders, and handed the Knicks a rather lopsided defeat. But Perkins isn't jumping on the panic bandwagon, and neither should Knicks fans. He emphasized that Boston is currently on another level, and most teams would have been on the receiving end of a beating that night, not just New York. Now let's talk about why Perkins still believes the Knicks have a legitimate shot to challenge the Celtics. It all starts with Jalen Brunson, who Perkins refers to as Big Body Brunson. While Brunson had a relatively quiet night against Boston, there's no denying the impact he can have on a game. We saw last season how he transformed the Knicks' offense and provided much-needed stability at the point guard position. He's tough, smart, and thrives in big moments. That's exactly the type of player the Knicks need to lead the charge if they're going to go toe-to-toe with the likes of Boston and Milwaukee in the Eastern Conference. But Brunson alone isn't enough to take down the Celtics. That's where the Knicks' other key additions come into play. Perkins mentioned Karl-Anthony Towns and Mikal Bridges as crucial pieces in the Knicks' core. Let's take a deeper look at their potential impact. Karl-Anthony Towns, arguably the best shooting big man in the league, brings a unique skill set that the Knicks haven't had in years. His ability to stretch the floor, hit threes, and operate in the post makes him a matchup nightmare for opposing defenses. Towns can pull opposing bigs away from the basket, opening up lanes for Brunson and the Knicks' perimeter players to attack. This is something that could prove invaluable in a playoff series, where matchups and spacing are often the difference between winning and losing. Mikal Bridges is another intriguing addition. Known for his defense and versatility, Bridges brings a level of toughness and grit that fits perfectly with Tom Thibodeau's system. While he struggled a bit in his debut against Boston, Perkins pointed out that it's far too early to judge Bridges' impact. In fact, Bridges has shown in the past that he can step up in big moments. Whether it's locking down the opposing team's best scorer or hitting clutch shots, Bridges has the potential to be a key difference maker as the season progresses. Then there's OG Anunoby, another strong presence on both ends of the floor. His ability to defend multiple positions and hit timely shots will only add to the Knicks' depth. Perkins believes that by the end of the season, the Knicks will be staring the Celtics in the eyes, ready to compete for the top spot in the East. And honestly, that's not a far-fetched idea. One of the Knicks' strengths is their depth. Yes, they were outplayed by Boston in the opener, but it's important to remember that teams take time to gel, especially with new players coming into the mix. Thibodeau's system, which emphasizes defense and hard-nosed basketball, isn't something that clicks overnight. We're going to see ups and downs throughout the season, but this team has the tools to improve as they build chemistry. Speaking of defense, we can't ignore the fact that the Knicks gave up a staggering number of threes to Boston. That's something Thibodeau will certainly address in the coming games. Historically, his teams are known for their defensive intensity, and it's unlikely that we'll see the Knicks allow that kind of shooting performance from an opponent again. Once the defense tightens up and the offense begins to flow more smoothly, this team can make noise in the Eastern Conference. But there's another reason for optimism that goes beyond just the X's and O's. The Knicks have an identity. They know what they want to be, a tough, defensive-minded team that plays with heart and effort every night. This identity, combined with their talent, is why Perkins is so bullish on the Knicks' chances this season. Of course, we can't ignore the elephant in the room: injuries. Like any team, the Knicks' success will depend on staying healthy. Mitchell Robinson's return will be vital, especially to anchor the defense in the paint. Towns will need to stay on the floor, and Bridges must continue to find his rhythm in this new system. But if the Knicks can avoid major injuries, there's no reason to believe they can't challenge Boston or any other team in the East. So, Where does that leave us? Should Knicks fans be worried after one blowout loss to the Celtics? Absolutely not. It's a long season, and the opener is just one game. What's more important is how the Knicks respond in the coming weeks and months. If they can bounce back, learn from their mistakes, and integrate their new pieces into the system, there's every reason to believe that this team can compete at the highest level. In conclusion, I agree with Kendrick Perkins. The Knicks have all the ingredients to be a real threat in the Eastern Conference. It's going to take time, and there will undoubtedly be bumps along the way. But this team has the talent, depth, and identity to make a deep playoff run. But now, I want to hear from you. Do you agree with Kendrick Perkins' assessment of the Knicks? Do you think this team has what it takes to challenge the Celtics and the other top teams in the East? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to HoopZone Sport News for all the latest Knicks updates and NBA analysis.